In the West today, we live a fast life. We sleep less, eat more, think quick, and text in shorthand. We live as individuals with credit cards that make everything affordable. In a godless world where sex is everywhere but in the bedroom, democracy is for dreamers, and a couple with kids is an endangered species. Very confusing. No time for clear thinking and no money for a good education. And yet, education is the West's greatest achievement. Lopped off the top from aristocracy and clergy, education was broadened into the masses. It's made the West the West. But we're losing our faculties in this modern blizzard of moneyed lives. The 3 R's are history. Teachers are trivialised, and educational institutions are the new beggars.
Education's really struggling. It's a funny thing that in Australia we claim that we value young people, and we talk very beautifully about that, but we show our contempt for them by the amount of money that we allocate to their education, for example, by the way that we structure schools. There is evidence everywhere we look at just how little we value children. And so we walk the walk, we talk the talk, but don't walk the walk.
On this patch of Australian Arcadia, one man is attempting to reacquaint school students with the wonder of learning.
Yeah, I really see wisdom as pretty high on the curriculum, but I wouldn't put it in those words. I wouldn't timetable wisdom for an hour a day, much as I'd like to. But I want to give people experiences that will help them understand life as a more complex and even baffling force than they have previously understood it to be. And I guess it's like that quote from T.S. Eliot, we had the experience but we missed the meaning. You can acquire wisdom by reading. Books like Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. That was a big one for me and still is, I guess.
John Marsden is a best-selling children's book author, and despite his commercial success, he's staying at the front line of education.
This is that in a book, the plot is also a character going from here to here, ignorance to awareness. Harry Potter is ignorant. He has no idea of his own qualities, his own abilities. He doesn't even know how his parents died. But by the end of the first book, he's pretty aware. It's like our understanding of how to get to wisdom has changed, and our prioritising of it has changed. I think it's seen as a rather frivolous or trivial or irrelevant pursuit in modern life, and schools naturally reflect that, so there's very little attempt to develop that in most schools that I've seen.
Indeed, school these days is more about hothousing kids into university to get a vocation that'll earn a decent position at the salary trough.
His mindset is shifting from humanity and friendship and enjoying life to not enjoying it, but how can you use it to your advantage? So people are used to enjoy life, and that's what people want to do, but they're usually so caught up in thinking, I want to enjoy life, but I have to make it work for me. And in having that mindset, they're then taken away from things like English into maths and economics, because they're the things which will get you money.
Macbeth and his wife are ignorant and remain ignorant for too long. By the time they start inching towards awareness again, it's too late. They're doomed by their ignorance. What I like at university is always the arts faculty, because that is the only faculty which is dedicated to opening people's minds. Every other faculty, by necessity, is dedicated to closing your mind and causing you to focus more and more intently and specifically on one area. And so my bias towards arts is because it is designed, the whole concept of it, the whole principle of it, the purpose of it is to open the mind, and to, by learning history and psychology and Japanese or whatever, you become a more aware and inevitably wiser person.
When I went to university, it had something to do with getting a real job. But really, it was about learning how to think. Opening the mind to the wisdoms of yesterday and tomorrow. After all, what is the West if not a rich palette of deeply layered societies that are crucibles of infinite science, disciplined industry, provocative art, music and architecture? If there's one thing that I learned after years of stumbling through schools and universities, it was to ask, why?
But why? Why?
Why am I here? Why reach beyond my grasp? Why is about the limitless, even the spiritual.
I think there's such a thing as a calling. I know it's unfashionable to say that these days, and I've always felt that doing theoretical physics is my calling, that I was born to do it. It's in my soul. And from the earliest age I can remember, before I even knew what physics meant, I was fascinated by the idea of atoms and stars and hidden things, wavelengths of electromagnetic radiation we couldn't see but were going right through us. All of this really fascinated me, the idea that there is a sort of hidden realm just around us, or maybe just look up in the sky. There's a wonderland up there just above our heads.
Then if we map this pi of x across to here, it'll get mapped to phi pi of x. One goes into pure mathematics not thinking that it will be used one day, but rather that it's just as much an art form and a beautiful art form as fine music, sculpture or painting. The feeling of universities, it's a forum of ideas. And it's not, for me, a place where I can get a degree and then can earn big dollars, in my first year of employment in the workforce. It's a place where I open your mind to new ideas, and it's a place where you can just take ideas for a walk and see where they lead you. And a lot of mathematical results come not from staring at the one problem and solving it, but trying to solve the problem and then just taking on this other idea and see where it can lead. And a lot of mathematical results have come across, I guess, by accident. Pi of x, pi of x.
A
lot of the mathematics that is developed now or in the relative modern day may not have applications now, but can be indispensable maybe 20, 50 years from now. The greatest example that carries a lot of weight is the formation of propositional calculus.
What?
Of propositional calculus, which is a sort of a formal language of expressions and implications, which probably seems very, very irrelevant to a normal conversation, but is completely indispensable if you're going to write computer programs. All that sort of formal language has to be given into the computer so the computer knows precisely what needs to be done. Another aspect is coding systems, elliptic curve cryptography. Without elliptic curve cryptography, we wouldn't be able to have all these secure information systems that we have today.
In English, that translates to, you'll never know when that'll come in handy. But that intellectual walk in the woods does take a little faith, not to mention patience. Qualities that are being forced out of fashion by a short-term, results-driven world. Critical thinking to conquer the impossible and husband inspiration has been relegated to second division since economic buffheads have